Yo, 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 what up, y'all? It's your boy E Beezy, Eric Buckner in the building. And y'all know who that guy is right there, the sports guru himself, Hugh Lee. So if you see
What's up?
both of us, you know it must be time to do our good old show here, Game Time Audible. What's going on, Hugh?
What's going on, E man? I'm gonna have to probably audible on you before the show even gets started, bro. It's
Oh, suck it
you
now.
about this stuff.
Okay. Kill, 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 kill. Omaha, Omaha. What you got? What you got, man?
Man. You know how they were saying that with the Boston Red Sox that Andrew Benintendi would possibly be on the trade block, man. He just got traded just a couple seconds ago to the Kansas City Royals, man.
Okay, so they done sent him to the KC Royals. All right. Well, that ought to be interesting. And in my family in the house, they might be liking that deal there. Let's see. We got anybody in the comments? Not just yet. So okay. We got
Probably all they liked it over this weekend.
so basically I would think that he would probably be replacing long time left fielder there in Kansas City, right?
Yeah, I'm looking up and seeing now it's everywhere after I just caught it, man. You
Okay.
see, I said it before the ESPN. You heard that ESPN
Yep.
right after I just
Yeah, you was
announced
on it.
it.
You was on it. Absolutely. So they traded him to Boston for who?
They didn't even have anybody in disclosure yet, man. I just feel like that had to happen though, because they needed an outfielder badly too. Definitely after Gordon leaving.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Ed Gordon, yep. But
'Cause
yeah, so that's just one of many deals we're gonna get into later on. But yeah, there we go. We got breaking news right to start the show off. So what's going on, y'all, this evening? As always, we're gonna get into our sports topics and talk our sports as we do. We of course encourage you guys to join in the comments and check us out. Let us know what you think, what's on your mind as far as things we're talking about. And if you got some things you want us to divert to, we'll call that audible as we always do and get to what you want to talk about for a minute. We don't mind at all. That's what we're here for. But anyway, we're going to start off talking about that Super Bowl. But first, we're going to hit a message or two. That'll give you time to go on and get situated, grab your beverage of your choice, quick beer, a little popcorn, whatever. And then we'll get on into this sports talk like we do about this time every week. So y'all go ahead and do that, and by all means, share the likes and tell a friend. We about to talk some sports here on Game Time Audible. There's your boy right there, the guru, and here I am. We're gonna get into it at the little commercial break. Let's do it, y'all.
that same energy too.
Night Network presents Pastor Sean Love. Pastor Sean Love, devoted father and husband, a residing pastor at the River Rouge Bible Assembly in River Rouge, Michigan. Join him as he gives us messages from God's Word, Bible study, and encouragement. You can find him on YouTube under Sean Love. What up, y'all? We are back. Game Time Audible. There's the sports guru himself, Hugh Lee, and you got your boy E up. We ready to get into it. We're gonna start it out with a little Super Bowl talk. We had the game Sunday, and as you guys know by now, sorry fam, but I have to report that in the end, the Kansas City Chiefs, they didn't get it done, y'all. They didn't handle the proper business. In the end, it was a rout. Tampa Bay stomped them. They got it in. Over with. First half, done already. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. What about you, Hugh? Did you see it?
I could believe it, man. I thought it was going to be a little closer, though. I know people want to probably put the excuses in there about the O line not being intact and, some phantom calls in the game. But at the end of the day, you got to make the proper adjustments to win the game. And I just felt like after being humiliated at home from the same Kansas City Chiefs, they just did their adjustments, man. They made really good Super Bowl adjustments. And I was hearing rumors, too, that they were saying Todd Bowles was already implementing plays and putting in on the defense of what they were going to do to slow down Tyreek Hill. And I didn't really think that they were going to slow him down to the point where he was non existent. But they actually did a really good job with the cover two, making sure the safeties watched them over the top and the linebackers watched Kelsey, and the cornerbacks was kind of like they squeezed everything in like sardines, man. They couldn't really do too much and move around, and they definitely didn't really have a part where they blitzed a lot, but they just had people just disrupted, man. From JPP, you had Shaq Barrett, and you had Sue. They was chasing after my man's. It was like Tom and Jerry the whole night, man. They just couldn't be stopped, man. And it was like, yeah, I know the offensive line was fragile, but you got to give credit to the Tampa Bay defense, man. They played lights out, man. And Brady played exceptional, but I believe that defense and Ty Bowles definitely was the MVP of that game.
And basically, if he was the MVP, then I would definitely say the second MVP has to be the fact that certain meetings were had. What Tony Romo talked about is when they had their last loss, what happened was they had a team meeting, and at that team meeting, they decided as an offense that they would go and implement what worked and throw out all their little gimmick and gadget plays. So they looked back at the last several weeks and what was working for them. They basically simplified the playbook, worked with those plays, and from that point forward, they never lost. So basically, the last 8 games of the season, they won. And that's what they attributed to. But okay, let's get to some of these comments here. Whack ass Super Bowl kid. Ha ha. Wasn't feeling it, Pride, huh? Thanks for checking in, bro. Dining out tonight. Just want to say thanks, Israel. We appreciate you. I'm back. There's one of our super fans. Cuz, what's going on, cuz? Say they got out coached. Yeah, can't argue that. Yeah. It happened. The enemy didn't adjust and needs to stay OC, but we good. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think he got much of a choice in the matter. Let's talk about that a little briefly. What is the enemy doing to where he's not getting these jobs? Keep in mind, he had like 11 interviews the last 2 seasons, and nobody's picking him up. I don't get it. What do you think, Hugh?
A lot of that have to do with politics, man. I feel like the Rooney Rule still is not helping, man. I think it's a joke to even have out there and to implement it, and there's nothing going on with it. Some of the coaches may get interviewed. Remember, I was talking about some guys who need to be interviewed, like Aubrey Pleasant. Now he's over on the Detroit Lions staff, which was good for him. I just don't feel like they do enough to keep the black coaches or to try to even get guys into these situations, man, like the minority coaches. I just feel like it's sad, man, because at first they were trying to use the excuse that only reason he didn't get picked up or signed is because they went so far into the season. And I said, no, that's not right. That don't even seem right, because a lot of the guys, even if they got like interviewed and they had the job, they could have went all the way to the Super Bowl, win or lose. Then you can go to your collective team, because just recently that happened with Antoine Randall. Antoine Randall was on the Bucs coaching staff, and then now he's over with the Detroit Lions.
Yes, he's their new wide receiver coach.
Yeah, so I thought that was baloney, man. It's just excuses they want to say, man. I just don't feel like they do enough. And I heard, too, surprisingly, they said Roger Goodell wasn't too happy with that as well, as far as some of these coaches like the Eric Bieniemys and guys who should have got opportunities didn't get, to the point to where, yeah, they had the interviews, but they wasn't getting the jobs.
Yeah, I mean, because in the end, let's look at it this way. The majority of the league is people of color. We know that. But when it all boils down to, we got 5 minority coaches, and only 2 of them are people that who are African American, and we only got 2 minority GMs. So at some point, something got to give. We're not getting the same type of reciprocity that we're getting in some of these other leagues. I mean, hell, it seems like it's more female coaches of color in the NFL right now than it is NFL coach. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at how several teams now have women coaching on their staff as opposed to head coaches and whatnot, it's definitely something that needs to be done in regards to that. Absolutely. Okay, let's see who we got checking in with us, Hugh. You know, cuz he's still on it. Hold on. Can't throw when you're scrambling all game. Absolutely. Even the great Pat Mahomes, but you got to give him credit. Some of those throws that he made under extreme duress was unbelievable. As a person that used to play quarterback a little bit, to be throwing off your back foot, going out of bounds, sidearm, and you still get it 35 yards, and somebody at least can touch it in the end zone. Do you understand how unbelievable that is, you?
Man, they were saying it too, man. They had it on the Showtime, man, where you seen Mike Evans and Godwin. They were saying because Godwin was looking at him like, man, did you just see that pass, man? This guy's a magician. He's unbelievable. They was really surprised, and they were even shocked looking as they were still fans of the game playing in the Super Bowl. That definitely let you know the talent factor of that man, and he's still gonna be around too. He's not going anywhere. It's some things that he's gonna have to learn. Some of those circus passes and throws he's gonna have to do. He's gonna have to calm down. A lot of it works. But I think he's going to definitely have to calm down, know that as he get older and he mature, because a lot of those are going to start being interceptions and they're going to start being bad plays when people adjust. It'll be just like Ben Roethlisberger all over again.
Okay, let's see. He's not HC material. Andy Reid is still calling the plays, and we know that. Andy is calling a lot of the plays. Ain't no doubt about that. But in the same token, he's been under him, almost 8-9 years now? Some had rubbed off to that point. You know what I'm saying? I just feel bad for that brother. I do. Rooney Reel's a bunch of ish. They hire white coaches instantly. It does appear that way. And it seems like they don't have to have that much experience either. It's like they go straight from being garbage in the league, coach for half a season, boom, they're assistant coach. 3 years later, they head coach. It seems like it go down that way. It's crazy.
Because there ain't no way applications still have a job.
Who is that? Okay, that must be on the other page. Okay, identify yourself, Facebook user. Let us know who you be. You're not popping up here on this side. Okay, 32 white owners, 5 head coaches, 2 GMs, and 70% playing are black. Absolutely. Those are the stats.
Yes,
and they are unequal and they make no sense. None at all.
GMs.
Yep. I mean, it's sad. I mean, and granted, one of the black GMs, of course, is here, and that only makes sense because this is the blackest city in America, basically, in terms of overall population. So, but even still, it shouldn't take that for you to get equality in the league, Okay, prior to saying I'm concerned about Mahomes' health. Too many hits or one bad injury could totally change the legacy of his career down the road. And I'm glad you mentioned that because we're going to kind of get into that with another quarterback. Don't go there yet, Hugh. I know you're itching to get to him, but we're going to talk about that a little bit later. But now what I want to talk about is the Tampa win. It was kind of deep to me because you see a lot of redemption stories and how that Super Bowl played out. I mean, the Guru was talking about this earlier. Think about the people that scored and the people that had big impacts in that game. Let's talk about, of course, the great Gronkowski, who got 2 of the early touchdowns. Remember, a year ago, this dude was not in the league. He had completely retired. He was selling weed. He was getting high. He was doing time talks about it. He was about to be, he was a champion in the WWE, for God's sake. He had no intentions of going back to do what he was going to do. But all of a sudden, Tom give him that call. I'm going to Tampa. You want to come with me? And lo and behold, there he is on TV. I'm going to Disneyland. Crazy, right?
Yeah, it was absolutely crazy because he was saying to the point where he wasn't even having any fun anymore. That's when he was with New England. He was banged up and he just didn't feel like the game was something that he wanted to go a part of. He didn't want to stay in the game because he felt like he was beat up. he was physically and mentally abused by, Coach Belichick. And when he finally left and when he went over there to Tampa, you can start to see Gronk was starting to be his old self again. You see him kind of shimmying and doing some of the things he do on the regular. And I said, yeah, that was actually pretty cool to see now, because that he's starting to have fun again. And that's what he was saying during the season. I'm actually really starting to have fun again. And this was really a Cinderella story for him, man. So as a lot of the other players who was on the team, which we're definitely going to get into in this conversation.
Right. And the thing was, part of what made Gronk, because granted, they didn't go to him a lot early on in the first few games, but, when it got deeper into the season, he was a key part of what made them win. And the thing was, he was healthy damn near all year. Those couple years before he retired, he had all type of injuries and was big time banged up. So I think he needed that year to rest, and that made him be close to the Gronk that we were used to seeing. And I'm interested to see how much longer he hangs on. In the end, is he going to stay as long as Brady stays? Or, remember now, Brady got 7 rings, of course, but Gronk got 4 now.
There you go.
Bottom line, he retires tomorrow. He's a Hall of Famer, no doubt about it. So this is because other things is calling Gronk. You got Hollywood calling Gronk. You got WWE calling Gronk. You got television calling Gronk. He got, and then of course there's that life in the booth that he had that year he was out. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure that job would be open back to him too if he wanted to do it. Of course, now, when it started something here, say that 24/7 championship doesn't count. And of course, Pride tell R-Truth that it don't count. Yeah, because granted, R-Truth have been the 24/7 champion probably about a good 12 times now, Pride. But I digress. We're not about to talk WWE right now. We're back to this game. And yeah, here's another redemption story we've got to talk about. Antonio Brown. Remember that guy? Remember, it was about a year and a half ago, and all the foolishness with what happened with him and the Raiders, and I'm free, and then he goes to the Patriots, and then that one game of redemption, and then he's booted out, and then this team and that team was going to sign him, and then all the confusion with the young ladies, and at that point, I'm thinking we're not about to see Antonio Brown no more. He done.
Not at all. I thought he was done.
Remember, that dude at one point was taking online classes back at Central Michigan. So, it seemed like football was the farthest thing from his mind. Let him tell it. But lo and behold, here we go. They get to Tampa Bay, and his boy Brady, he ain't forget about it. He gave him time to kind of get himself together a little bit, and then when they seen they needed some more weapons and whatnot, they had him make that call, and sure enough, they brought him on. The first couple of weeks, he kind of had to get implemented into the offense. Don't look like Mike Evans was too happy about him arriving early on. But somehow, some way, Brady being the leader he was, he worked it all out. He kept Antonio Brown out of his house and out of trouble. And lo and behold, look who got another Super Bowl ring.
That dude was so quiet and laid back too, man. You didn't even really recognize he was on the team sometimes. He did really good too when it came to the end of the season. He had like 5 touchdowns in like those last 3 games. That's when you start to see him click. He started to look definitely like the old Antonio Brown.
Good evening, Daryl. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate you. But yeah,
he really definitely on point with the way he played. And him catching that touchdown too in the Super Bowl was actually redemption, man, because of the fact is, I feel like for him to be in that spot and to be in that position, I feel like he ran the wrong route, but then Tom Brady adjusted, and it was good to see him and Gronk get in the end zone, man. And then we can't even forget the fact that when he played, man, he definitely looked like he wanted to come back. All of those guys were talking about it too, from, Gronk saying he wanted to return, Fournette wants to return, and
hold on. Don't jump the gun here. Let's go in order here now. We got to talk about this guy, Ndamukong Suh. Another redemption story. Remember, once upon a time, he was the dirty villain of the game. They was talking about, think about banning you. You so dirty. You're stepping on people's heads and causing all type of fruckuses and getting suspended constantly. The Lions basically was like, okay, you want to go to Miami? Go right ahead. We don't need you. And so he bounced around Miami. And then, of course, he made the Super Bowl last year with the Rams, and that didn't quite work out. So here we are in Tampa Bay. And lo and behold, we got Suh. And wow, now Sue got a ring.
Sue hated Tom Brady at one point too. That was funny to see because you remember he was in Miami chasing Brady around, and it was just good to see them get there and get to the championship, man. And it was cool because we all cheered for Sue, man. I was feeling a little sad for him. Didn't feel too sad when Brady won against the Rams, but definitely wanted to see Sue finally get a ring too. It seemed like a lot of these guys, man, who it escaped them for so long, or they had a ring in their grasp, they finally all united and got together because AB wasn't going to get a ring long as he was in Pittsburgh or anywhere in the AFC long as Tom was there.
Yeah, I was shocked by that too because they ain't getting out one touchdown. That was crazy. Yeah. Okay, let's see. He was using more blocking this year. That's why he got 2 touchdowns. We wasn't ready. Yeah, it don't appear because, like I said, particularly on that first touchdown, he just kind of slipped through it. It's like nobody even thought about him.
Yeah.
William Gostam Jr. from Detroit. His father was my OC and good friend. I wish he had lived to see his son win. Yeah, I wish any father, you wish they could see their son get the ultimate accomplishment. I agree with that, Coach William. So, yeah, we had some Detroit love in there. And if I remember right, who was that? Murphy Bunton? Did he not go to a college here in Michigan? So we got that connection also. Okay, Gronkowski said he's coming back now. Yeah, he definitely said he's coming back next year. Like I said, I'm wondering how much longer he gonna play. I mean, if Tom talking about doing another 2 or 3 years, is he gonna stay as long as Tom stays? I mean, they're good friends. Who knows? Don't talk about truth, pride. What it do, Doc? Okay. Again, I really got to get access to the other page so I can see who are some of these folks. Yeah, like I said, right now we got to get off my lawn access here on this phone. I got to grab my other phone so I can see who some of these other people are checking in. I apologize for not addressing you by name at the moment. We'll go to the commercial break and get that together. More like 35-time champ. Exactly. R2's been the champ ridiculous number of times at 24/7. True.
Make a mockery out of that, man.
Funny, Coach Aarons didn't even want him on the team. Thought that AB would be a bad for the locker room, and he wasn't the only one on the team that didn't want him. Like I said, Evans had an issue, and I know a few other people on the team kind of expressed some concerns early on. But you see, in the end, he ended up being a model citizen all throughout the whole thing.
The injuries helped him get on the team too, because remember at the point, Godwin was hurt and Mike Evans were hurt, and they needed that receiver insurance. And when they got that wide receiver insurance and Antonio Brown, that definitely helped them, man, because you never knew which one of them was going to go down. A few times, either one or both of them would be having problems or wasn't able to really play in the game. So to see him over there in the play and step up like he did, man, and be a model citizen, man, kudos to him.
Mm-hmm. Now look at them trying to jack the show, man. Said the Twins, Blue Spring, Missouri played on Tom Blake. Now this is what I'm talking about right here. Said Bill Truth was making a living out of that belt. Yeah, okay, so apparently we better call this Audible. Audible, kill. Okay, we'll talk a little wrestling for a minute. Yeah, I checked out some of that Royal Rumble and whatnot. Edge won the Royal Rumble for the men's side. And Edge is looking really interesting. He kind of looking a lot frailer than he was, but you can see the cuts. You can see where he been lifting or injecting, or I ain't gonna put it out there like that.
I believe
me, but he looked really, remember he had issues to where he had retired and wasn't gonna wrestle anymore. But now here he is, and they basically gonna mainstream him in WrestleMania. And then of course you got Bianca Belair. She won the female Royal Rumble, and man, if you have not seen her, she is the next big thing. One, she's hot. I like the ponytail, but two,
she's very talented.
For her abilities, man, just her physical attributes and her abilities. I would love to see her wrestle Charlotte Flair at some point. I think that'd be an excellent match. But yeah, I'm interested to see how they play that one out in terms of who she's going to wrestle for the belt. Because from what I'm seeing, they definitely gonna give her the title at some point.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, now can we get back to the stuff? Now we talked the wrestling for y'all. Let's go. Okay. Brown wasn't gonna let Brady down. Absolutely. Him and Tom, they tight, man. They tight. Okay, let's see what else. I'm playing next year. Yeah, okay, H2. What up, Elena? What's going on, girl?
Get that ring, man.
Yes, he is, and he's hysterical. Old and thin, sunken in the cheeks, talking about Edge. Was gone for 10 years. Yeah, he was gone for quite a bit. Check out Miss Cargill on AEW. Okay, I ain't seen much of AEW. I'll do that.
AEW, the truth, man. That's starting to overshadow some of WWE, man. They got a lot of talent over there. Don't forget Kitty Omega, the Young Bucks over there, man. You got Cody Rhodes. You need to check that out. You slipped it.
Okay, we'll do. But meanwhile, okay, let's get back to the football talk now. Here's the thing. I got to talk about one more redemption story, and that is the young man called Leonard Fournette. Leonard Fournette, if you guys remember, was the #1 running back coming out of high school during his time. And then when he went to LSU, we just knew without a shadow of a doubt that this man was about to be the next best thing at running back since Barry Sanders or Emmitt Smith, you name it. But then, of course, the injury bug got him at LSU, and it probably cost him at least one Heisman Trophy, if not two of them, because he was that dominant as a runner in some of those games, particularly against some of the big schools that were not Alabama, man. Alabama had his number, but pretty much everybody else, he ran roughshod. So anyway, he went over there to Jacksonville, and that first year, them first few games, he was looking real, real good. But then, of course, again, the injury bug got him, and from that point on, his time in Jacksonville was tumultuous at best. So, you know, when they picked him up in Tampa Bay, they already had a decent running back. And then, of course, they also had your boy that they picked up, Shady. So it's like, okay, how many carries is this guy going to actually get? And at first, it didn't like he was going to get much because Jones was getting the bulk of the carries. But as the year went on, we had injury situations. And sure enough, he started taking over. And then the playoffs came, and suddenly he was a big-time factor.
Yeah.
So I was definitely not surprised that they used him the way they used him in the game, especially once they got the league going on. I was happy for that brother. What about you, Hugh?
Man, he was grounded and pounded it, man. And it got to the point where it got real bad with him when he came over there to Tampa because they wanted to know, like, what was going on with you. I think at one point Bruce Arians pulled him in and talked to him in the office, was like, what do you want to do and where you want to be as a football player? Because he was upset that Ronald Jones was getting most of the reps. And I think once he had that conversation with him and Arians, and he talked to Brady, and Brady told him, man, you know, come on, man, you know, we need you to pick up, man. We need you. And when he got that voice of confidence between the two, that's when he really started to step his game up. He looked really good in the season. It got even better once it got closer to like the playoffs. But he was like a huge factor in the playoffs when it came to from Washington all the way to the Super Bowl. You seen how dominant he was. And it seemed like just like all the players from Gronk, who wasn't having fun, to Antonio Brown, who was going through a situation where he had to take a step back, and now to Leonard Fournette, man, the boys having fun. They enjoying themselves. They happy. They basically where they want to be right now in their careers. And you can't beat that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, WCW was the bomb.
Yeah.
Like I said, you had Sting, you had Ric Flair, you had Big Papa Pump. We're not going down this rabbit hole. Y'all determined to have us talk about wrestling this evening. We talking about the big sports, folks. Okay, yeah, let's go here. Fournette is done for real if it wasn't for Jones. Bottom line, I think they both helped each other in that regard. Because in the end, if Jones hadn't had his points to where he was dominant and then got hurt, and then Fournette came in, but then Fournette had his problems. If they both hadn't worked together, they probably wouldn't have got it done as far as the running game goes. And of course, my cousin saying Shady gets another damn ring for doing nothing. So is you basically saying that Shady McCoy is the NFL version of, say, John Sally at the end of his career, where he seemed to get all those rings for being in the right place at the right time? He stole one with the Lakers. He stole one with the Bulls, or a couple with the Bulls, wasn't he?
That fool McCoy got back-to-back rings, man.
On a humble. Because, yeah, he hardly played on either one of them teams, truth be told. It works out that way sometimes.
In the right place in the right time, man, in his career.
Exactly. Just hanging out. Exactly. Getting that extra Super Bowl pay. Mm-hmm. Sorry. Oh, it's all good, H2. We just messing with y'all. But anyway, so bottom line, the game sucked. The commercials was all right. The halftime show, But anyway, pulling a Juwan Howard. Hey. Now you hold on, cuz. Let me talk about my Michigan people. Juwan, he got his ring. He earned it. He played his NBA life. Yeah, he didn't get it to the end, true enough, but he earned that ring, man.
And I hear pride. A lot of people, throwing shade, talking about how bad the Super Bowl was. Yeah, it was bad. But just because they got dominated. I mean, there ain't nothing else to say about it. But they got dominated, and we didn't think it'd be a blowout. And I think that we all wanted just a good game. And by it not being that way, I definitely feel like it's in a good way to me.
I know you still salty the shoes off. I got you. You had to get a dig in. But anyway, okay. So anyway, that's this season. When we get back after this quick commercial break, we got to talk about what's setting up for next season. Hold on, let's take this last comment. It was a great game for me. I picked Tom Brady at the beginning of the year. Actually, I remember that.
Yep.
You actually did. They were talking about Sally today and how he was on LA to help mentor Kobe since he was literally a child and was going to have to grow up fast. And yeah, if I remember right, it was Sally and a couple other folks that they had because they said Kobe was wilding early on. He was trying to grow up before his time, because of course he was on Moesha and all that, and getting his head blew up and all that good stuff. So yeah, I understand that. It was a great coached game. I can't say that. I can't say that. No, it was on the one side perhaps, but no, KC did not get the job done. Yes, he did, and some don't ever get a ring. Exactly. Meanwhile, you got the GOAT Brady now with 7 rings. Keep in mind, Brady's played what? This will be his 22nd season coming into this next year. And he's 10 of them in the Super Bowl. And I believe 18 out of 21 seasons he made it to the playoffs. That's crazy.
And he can walk off into the sunset today and be, like you said, a first ballot Hall of Fame.
Like I said, I could almost argue that once he decides to retire, they might as well just go ahead and hand him the gold jacket right there on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
It was great. It was coached great from one side. I agree, Will. Exactly. 7 less titles than Ric Flair. Yep. And then let me see what we got. Let me think. John Cena, he got like 14, 15 titles, and then we got Triple H. He got about 16, and
big Triple H to bowing out because he knew he was such a big fan of Flair. He was like, I'm not trying to break that. You can't break that record. So big up to Trips for that.
True that. Because he damn near owned WWE, so he could have made that happen. But anyway, let's take this commercial break. Then we're gonna talk some free agency. In particular, we're gonna talk about the quarterback carousel because we need to figure out where some of these other quarterbacks going now that we know where Matthew Stafford and Jared Goff gonna be. Let's see who else gonna transpire. But we'll be back after this. Game Time Audible, y'all. Let's do it.
Discretion is advised.
Behind the Blue Curtain, Saturdays at 11 a.m. Eastern. Unscripted talk on police reform and race relations.
And now, Behind the Blue Curtain's law enforcement liaison, retired 32-year Chicago police veteran, homicide detective, former commander, sergeant, grant writer, lecturer, and adjunct professor, Joseph J. Mosley.
Behind the Blue Curtain's minister of common sense, former 12-year Fort Worth police officer, educator, voice of reason, an unapologetic practitioner of sound judgment, the young scholar, LaRonda Young.
Behind the Blue Curtains co-host, fact checker, and investigative journalist Isidoro Rodriguez.
All right, y'all. We are back in this Game Time Audible. There is the sports guru himself, young Hugh Lee, and you got me, your boy E Buck in the building, and we about to talk some NFL offseason transactions in the talk zone. Found out who some of those people is. Shout out to my boy Jimmy, one of my high school buddies. He was one checking in. Thank you, Jimmy, and also shout out to you, Gregory Offlet. Thanks for checking in with us. We appreciate it.
Hey, what's up, man?
We got a couple more comments. Flair had the most at 16. Cena had 15. Triple H 15. And Randy Orton 12. Yep. Flair got 16, I believe. Woo! Yeah. Anyway, as the show is trying to be audible on us this evening with wrestling talk. Shout out to my guy Pride that started that off. I'm looking forward to your show, Pride, because Pride will be talking some wrestling on his show.
Yes, sir.
You guys soon on the Nighthawk Network. Be looking for that coming up soon. But nonetheless, right now we're going to talk this NFL free agency. And I'm going to start this talk off with one of the transactions that the guru told me about today. Share that with us, Hugh, if you would.
Man, there's a lot of good stuff going on, man. And I just wanted to kind of flip-flop and mix some of the NFL quarterbacks, man. And it's a pretty good quarterback there.
You put the gun on me, Hugh. I want to talk about that one transaction in particular with the cornerback.
Got you. AJ Abouye got released today from the Denver Broncos, man. To me, I feel like he's one of the top 5 cornerbacks in the game. Not only is he a difference maker, but what he's done with the Jacksonville Jaguars, man, I definitely thought that he was going to bring that same energy to the Broncos, man. I was just surprised that he actually left today. But I feel like it's more than necessary because I believe after this release, they're going to save $13 million. And that would have been a cap hit if he stayed.
I'm right there, you at that bad moment. Here's the thing. I call this man a sports guru for a minute. You see how he pontificated for the last 2-3 minutes about this particular individual? Now, unless you are a diehard football fan, most of y'all don't know who AJ Bowie is. And there's reasons for that. He is not one of the key people in the league. But here's the thing. The reason why this is important, and then any other transaction is important during this time, is because these are the players that oftentimes make your team the team to beat when push comes to shove. Remember, the NFL is about attrition. It is 16 games a year, and oftentimes every week you get major stars getting hurt, and it changes the whole course of that person's season. I mean, we could just point back to any given year. Maybe week 2 or week 3 come along, that quarterback or that running back, that wide receiver, they get hurt, Achilles, knees, what have you, they out for the season. And oftentimes who takes over for them, that determines whether or not your team moves forward. Okay, let me take these comments right quick before I move on. Hold on. What's going on here, folks? There we go. Heard today Wilson wants out of Seattle, maybe to the Raiders. We're going to get to that, cuz. Hold on.
Yeah, we definitely on that.
Show, Ian Hugh. Thanks, Will. We appreciate you, bro.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So, yeah, the thing is, you have to understand that the little people in the mix is key to what makes your team such. For all the people that we talked about in the Tampa Bay run, it was a lot of those backups and whatnot, particularly when they were having those big-time injuries, the Scott Millers and the Golstons of the world that made that championship run possible. So when you talk about AJ Bowie, who's not necessarily an all-pro superstar, but definitely not a scrub either, those are the type of acquisitions that makes your team more in the mix than they would be. So that's why stuff like that's important. And, of course, if you're looking to keep up with that, as this man does on a daily, regular basis, let me suggest to you that you go check out his sports blog. Of course, we'll tell you about it a little bit more later on at the end of the show. But let me go and get that a shout out. Pure to the game. Because when you're talking about transactions and possibilities and rumor mill, don't nobody be on it. My man's the sports guru. He will keep you hit, trust and believe. It's like the man don't even sleep. I get up sometimes 4 o'clock in the morning, like, man, when did you post that? You just go there and work tomorrow, bro. What the heck? So yeah, so definitely there's that. But okay, now we got to talk about the most important position on anybody's football team, particularly in NFL, that being the quarterback. So let me take a comment here. The NFL is getting a brand new James Harden flu, and the quarterbacks of all players are catching it big time. We about to get to what I'm saying. Heard today Wilson wants out of Seattle, maybe to the Raiders. Bottom line is, we talk NBA, and you know that in the NBA, it's very much a players' league right now. Big time players is dictating not only where they going, but who the hell coming with them. So that being said, now suddenly there's this run on the quarterback. Because again, you have to look at the draft and see that there's not many big time prospects outside of course, the great Trevor Lawrence. And yeah, I'm saying the great Trevor Lawrence already, and he ain't played not one NFL game because you see the arm talent, the ability to read the defenses, the 6'6", the toughness. I just can't see that brother failing. And then, of course, I wasn't the only person that thought that. That's why that person in Jacksonville took the job. You know what I'm saying? That being said, everybody ain't got that to look forward to. So now the scramble becomes, okay, what quarterback we got now? And is he good enough to get it done? And if not, who can we trade him for? So that being said, he was about to go down the line, and we're going to talk about the various quarterbacks looking to move on or move somewhere else. And let's see what we think about that. So go on here, Hugh, jump it off.
I got Carson Wilson, Marcus Mariota.
Okay, slow down. Let's get one at a time going here.
You want me to break them down one by one? Okay.
Yeah, let's do that.
You already know, man. We talked about this before. I got Carson Wentz, so I'm going to the Colts without a shadow of a doubt. Frank Reich was his quarterback coach when he was with Philadelphia. I think that was probably the best year he had as a quarterback. Unfortunately, when he left, man, it kind of left a dilemma to where Nick Foles started to overshadow him after winning the Super Bowl, and they didn't think he had what it takes. The reason why he stayed is because of the fact that they put so much money and they invested in him, and that's when they felt like Nick Foles had to go. But I definitely have him going to the Indianapolis Colts just because of the tutelage of Frank Reich, and I just think that's the perfect fit right now. Phillip Rivers about to retire, you can slide him right in, and he won't miss a beat because I already know he has some type of familiarity to his playbook.
Now, bottom line, my problem with that is simply this. They got a quarterback in Indianapolis, and why this brother won't get his proper due, I do not understand. Of course, talking about Kobe Brissett, because in the end, the year before when he was the starting quarterback, they had a good year. They had injuries, granted, and he had some injuries himself. But ultimately, they almost finished 8-8 that year. But then suddenly, boom, here go Phillip Rivers. They make him take a back seat, and now it's like nobody even remembers that he is a quarterback. That's crazy to me. I say he should have the opportunity to be the starter again in Indianapolis myself. But yeah, I understand your points about Carson Wentz. Okay, hold on. Cuz is saying Wentz needs to go and fight to be a starter. Don't just get him a job. And I agree with that. Because like I said, when you see what happened there in Philadelphia, where he basically lost the job to Hurts, and granted, Hurts is a serviceable quarterback. He might be good, but I don't see him being on that elite level as far as quarterbacks go. I can see him losing his job another year or two if the scenario play out a certain way. But bottom line, like I said, Wentz definitely is not showing me enough in this last year or two to be like, okay, we got to make him a starter. The only reason that you make that person a starter is because he's making $33+ million a season. And in the end, you know what it is. About that mean green. And that's what a lot of these decisions is going to be based upon, flat out. Because a lot of these quarterbacks that's looking to move, they're already making big money. And in order to get them moved, you want to throw a king's ransom. Okay, well, who else you got on that list?
I got Marcus Mariota, man, because he played well when he was playing the game that he did play when he played for the Raiders when Derek Carr got injured. There's a lot of controversy going on right now, and some people think that he should stay and Derek Carr should leave because they feel like that 20 million in the cap space would definitely help them out, and they feel like that he's not worth it right now. So yeah, man, there's a possibility the car can get shipped off, but I still feel like right now, Marcus Mariota, his best bet to me would be going to the Jets.
Now,
And
see,
because we talked about the Sam Darnold situation.
I find that interesting that you have him going to the Jets. Remember, if I am not correct, don't the Jets have the number 2 pick?
Yes, they do.
And with that number 2 pick, they can get that kid out of BYU, or they can get Fields from Ohio State, or perhaps they got they pick a quarterback with the number 2 pick. I mean, granted, I'm looking at Mariota, and he's had his time in the league. He's played in a playoff game or two, but is that deal significant enough to make to where you give up that number 2 pick, which is probably what it's going to cost you to do that move? Is it worth it? Or do you try to get Mariota with like a 2nd or 3rd round pick and just have that in your back pocket?
You know what? Just like you was explaining too, I just don't really think that they're buying into a lot of these guys when they're coming out, man, because the only true prospect out of the quarterbacks is going to be, Trevor Lawrence.
Okay. Cubs is going there. Raiders need a quarterback, but I also say funk them Raiders for obvious reasons. KFC was managed to eat.
I'm going to get to the Raiders, though.
Carr for a minute. Is Carr in that carousel that you think?
I definitely think Carr is, man, because like I was telling you, man, he got 21 mil, next year, man. If they could cut him, man, they could do a lot more, man. And that will for sure keep Marcus Mariota in place because I feel like he's done enough or he knows at least that offense to where they won't really still miss a beat. And at the same time, I feel like even though Derek Carr's pretty good when it comes to he can scramble, he got tricky speed, but Mariota has that same type of speed too. He's a good scrambling quarterback too.
He's a better scrambling quarterback, and I feel like he has a better arm than Carr. So I could definitely see a scenario where they got already at quarterback in Vegas. They just go ahead and cut Carr and promote Mariota to starting QB and go with that.
That's a lot of money out there.
Stop giving juice to the Raiders because Al David never paid us. Ha 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 ha. Just win, baby. Yeah, but anyway, I digress. Okay, it's a couple quarterbacks that ain't came up yet. I definitely want to know your thoughts on them. We got to talk about that guy down there in Houston right now. What's going on with him? What do you think you're gonna send that young brother?
Deshaun Watson, man, it was 3 teams I thought that fit him perfectly, man. The Raiders was one. I want to keep messing with your cuz, so I'm throwing them out there. We heard the rumor with the fans at one point. I don't know if they're just ready yet to give up on Tua Tagovailoa. I think that he'll probably stay in place. I know he's shaking right now in his shoes because that could be a possibility.
Hugh, come on, man. After all they went through the tank for Tua, you think Miami ready to give up on him already? Come on, guy. You guys to
that's the option. But I'm gonna say the true team. I think that he will be on the. This is scary. Watch out, NFC. I think that the Bears is a huge possibility for him. Think about it. We just talked about Mitchell Trubisky and how good he is. Not so much. Him going to a team that already has a stout defense, the offense ain't that bad. People don't give Allen Robinson his respect, man. That guy's a stud. Did he have somebody to really throw to him? Absolutely not. Him going to the Bears would be scary, man, because not only do he have a good defense, but he can make that offense go in a whole different direction. I would like to see that happen.
Bottom line, I would like to see him go there because, one, as an African-American quarterback and a good guy, think about what type of things he could do for the community of Chicago. We already know about some of his charitable acts in Houston, but when you put him in that particular in a large market like that with that type of personality and those skills, bottom line, if he can get them to the playoffs, if he can get them to a Super Bowl, that brother could run Chicago. He could be along those lines up there with Walter P. and Jordan and whatnot.
Yep. Because they reached, man. Come on now. You can't tell me they ain't reached at second pick, man, when they got him.
I mean, bottom line, we know, okay, of course, Cousins saying, I think when it does settle, Deshaun stays. My thing is, I can see a scenario where they might start out the season with him, but sooner or later, he gone. He gone, especially if they go ahead and let J.J. Watt and all them leave too. I can see a scenario where basically they pull a Miami, and at that point, whatever decent asset they got in Houston, they go on ahead and let them cut, collect all those picks, and just start completely over.
It was already bad enough they got rid of DeAndre Hopkins, and then they let Jadeveon Clowney walk. Just think about if J.J. Watt leave, man. And, yeah, he's already out of there, man. I don't care. People think the Nick Casario's going to keep him or they're going to hold him as ransom because they're going to try to get a coach that'd be worth him staying. I just don't see that happening, man. He won out, and we talked about that earlier. Texas got to change the way they do things, man. Ed Reed was just talking about it recently, saying, when I was there, man, it kind of reminded you of the old days. You already know when I come from, and when I say old days, it's still that type of mentality out there from the top of their organization to the bottom, with the coach staff and everything. So I just don't think that he's comfortable staying there. So if they try to squeeze him in and keep him there or try to force him to stay, it's going to get ugly. He already pleading he want to leave, so why don't you just let the man walk, get a good trade capital for him?
Absolutely. Okay, here's another possibility here. What about the Washington football team? They need somebody too. Could you see him going to the Redskins?
Hey, man, the Redskins don't got a bad team either, man. I like Terry McLaurin, and I like their running backs, and I like their tight end. I think that they're a really exceptional team. They got a hell of a defense, man. And I feel like that's all they're really missing. We don't think Alex Smith going to be back. He got battered too bad, man. I just don't think that he will be strong enough. Maybe I'm wrong, because he definitely proved a lot of people wrong coming back this year. I just don't think that he can go through the grind of the NFL season. So I think that Deshaun Watson would be perfect there. But at the same time, though, I still feel like the Bears would reach out more. I feel like whoever has more capital, and I'm going to have to check and see who has the most as far as cap space and all. But I just think that would be a better fit for them, man, because I feel like they're ready to win. All they were missing was a quarterback there. And Mitchell Trubisky wasn't the answer, but Washington Redskins don't really sound that bad neither.
All right.
Is better than the Bears.
He's saying, pretty sure Alex is done. Truthfully, I think I could get one more year out of Alex Smith before we cut him loose. I think he's still the transition quarterback there in Washington. Yeah, granted, they just re-signed the backup. What's his name, Hugh? I know you know.
It's a weird kid name again, man. It was
Hinkie, right? Hinkie, right?
Yeah. Was it Tyler Hinkie?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and they signed him for 2 years, $13.5 million. So that's good backup money at least. And I'm sure that if push come to shove, he might get a chance to job. He did all right in reserve. Comeback for one season was remarkable. Yeah, absolutely it was. I mean, consider how bad off Alex Smith was. Basically, they're saying when he got his leg broken, because we all know about what happened with Joe Theismann back in the day when his leg basically got shattered by Lawrence Taylor. They're basically saying that Alex Smith's leg was worse than his. And somehow through all that rehab and reconstructive surgery, then of course he had the thing where he got the infection with the leg and they had to go back and operate again. He went through all of that and somehow not only made it back, but actually made it back to be a starter in the league and made it to be the comeback player of the year. So it's a remarkable story, absolutely.
Because he almost died, man.
Yeah, there's that. They say he almost died on the operating table. Yep. He damn near died twice, almost amputation, 12 surgeries. Absolutely. All that went on. So that story in and of itself, you got to give him kudos for that. Yep, but okay. Of course, there's one more quarterback we got to discuss in this thing, so let's keep it moving. We got to talk about what Cuz brought up earlier because you already read Hughes, man. We talked about this earlier today. Let me go back to that comment and find it right quick. Hold on, y'all. Give me a sec. Okay. I done lost it. But anyway, we were talking about Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson from Seattle. Now, reports are that he wants out of Seattle or he wants the ability to control more of what goes on personnel-wise. Talk about that for a minute, Hugh.
Yeah, he's not happy at all. He's frustrated, man. First off, for getting sacked so many damn times, man. I think he got sacked like 394 times, man. And
no,
that's
actually,
like,
it's 397. And keep in mind, Russell Wilson's been in the year 9 years. And those 397 sacks are the most any quarterback has been sacked in the last 9 years. That's nuts. And considering the type of quarterback that Russell Wilson is, being the scrambler that he is, if he was not a scrambling quarterback and more of a pocket passer, think about how many more times he would have got sacked if it was not for that.
Yeah, it's bad, man. He's just not happy because he feel like they're not doing enough to put around him. I feel like when they had the Legion of Boom, they put the defense around him, and he had a pretty decent offense. So what he didn't really have to do was throw down the field deep if he didn't want to. He could just hand that sucker off to beast mode, and he gonna do what he do every time. But I feel like he had enough offense around him to where he could throw the ball, run the ball, and the defense was good enough to always give him the ball back. But once those guys start leaving, a lot of the pressure started to get on Russell Wilson, and he just tired of going through what he's going through right now. And he definitely want more of the say-so in the organization of who should be there or people who they should look after and to come in to help the team win. He just basically want to say so on that aspect of the game. He just don't want to be left out anymore. He wants to know whatever they're making moves, what type of moves they're going to make, who they're trying to bring to the team, and so he could put his input. And that's all he wants. He just wants that stamp of approval, and he wants to know what the front office is doing now. And he feel like he want to have some part of the organization where he can feel appreciated to help him out. And not only that, but give him an insight so he won't be out of the loop. That's all he wants. He wants that type of situation so where he can feel appreciated. That's basically all it comes down to right now.
I don't think so, Hugh. It's one thing we got to consider in this thing, and I've had that discussion with a couple of folks in regards to Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson is in his mid-30s now, and bottom line, he's making $37 million a year, got all that guaranteed money. Wife is foreign. So foreign. Got the kids now. They got their group business together. They music management company and they production company and all that. You kind of look at football a little differently when you got other stuff invested. You know what I'm saying? So I think part of it is business. You know, these are business decisions. You can't be out there getting all beat up and hurt. You messing up the brand doing that. We need more protection. We need to consider our future here. If we getting all dinged up and beat up, got CTE, going into our early 40s and whatnot, we might not be around to see those kids become adults. We ain't trying to be no vegetable out here, not to mention the fact that, okay, I got a ring. I done got this money. Football, perhaps, maybe not as important as it was when I was in my early 20s. There's definitely that.
You got a family to consider too, man. I could take a back seat real fast. I feel like right now he definitely wants to do a little bit more to stay in Seattle, but I feel like if he did want out, he would definitely express it. I don't think that he would waste any time, but at the same time, I think that right now the best thing he can do is just get some type of stake of what they're going to do and how things running in our operation. To at least see where their heads at, because like you said, if they got their heads in the right place on the personnel and the people they're bringing in, it's a possibility he might want to stay. But if they're not doing anything to keep him there or to keep him happy, I could definitely see him try to find another home elsewhere.
All right. And we're gonna make that the last word on that. So yeah, okay, we can talk about football. That ain't all we're gonna talk about now. There's other sports we're gonna get into, and we definitely gonna do that as we take this quick commercial break. Matter of fact, when we come back, we want to talk some of that NCAA basketball and got to talk about my girls as well. So we're gonna get into some NCAA talk when we get back here on Get Off My Lawn Live. Nope, wrong show. Ha ha! Look at me. Got too much going on here tonight on Network. This is actually Game Time Audible, y'all. I know I was going to do that one day. My bad.
Come on now. Okay, black on. Get into it. Black on. Look at that. David Ford. Right there. That's his thing. Black on. He don't know Tom. Look at that. David Ford. That's his name. He don't know Tom. Yeah. Yes. Oh, here we go. Oh, I can't see the demons. I can't see the demons, but I can see the light.
We are creating black luxury across this country.
There we go. We are back, y'all. Game Time Audible. We are back with you. It's me and the Sports Guru here. We about to talk some college basketball, but I seen you've been checking on the scores there, Hugh. What you got? Anything interesting?
But yeah, man. At one point the Hawks was on cruise control. They was up by 12, man, and now the advantage is in the Mavericks' hand. Oh, I spoke too soon, man. I think Dallas just they're still up right now, but Hawks just hit a three. It's like 43.6 seconds left, and they up by one. So yeah, that game got real interesting because it's still like a toss-up game. But I know you saw what was going on with the Pacers, man. At one point, the Pacers in this game got really out of hand. It was up to the point where I think they were up by 32 before the half. Then they end up closing it out, and they were winning by 30. But, yeah, they still on cruise control with that one. It's 70-94. The Grizzlies handling their business, man, which I thought it would be a little closer, but they kind of on cruise control right now with the Hornets, 107-92. Timberwolves are actually giving them a game with the talking about the Clippers. I don't really still feel like they have a chance, but they're still making it interesting, 96-87. The Pelicans game is kind of like what I thought it was going to be. They up 74-66. And we ain't even going to talk about that Cleveland game because that got out of hand fast. I think
don't even address it no further. Let it be. Let it be. But okay, like I said, we're about to get into this basketball talk. Let me give y'all a little point of reference here for a minute. Let me see if we got the right one there. No, we don't want to go there yet. Okay, here we go, y'all. Right now, we looking at this week's top 15 here in men's college basketball. As you see, Gonzaga and Baylor are still number 1 and number 2, as they have been all season long. Now, if you notice here, Hugh, at number 3, you got Michigan.
Yes, sir.
Has not played in almost 3 weeks now. So that took another week off to get COVID out of campus, and it's still not working. So that Saturday game that they're supposed to play might be in jeopardy as well. But despite all that, they still moved up 1 after they moved up 2 the week before, even though they have not played in 3 weeks. Because, of course, they are 13-1. And as you see, all these other teams in the top 10, they got at least 2 or 3 losses and what have you. Now, as y'all see this, pay very close attention, because I want to point out something that you're going to find very interesting, okay? Now, you see that, right, Hugh? Let me take it down and let me have this little discussion with y'all for a second. Because we got to understand it's something very, very weird about what we're looking at here. Hold on, give me a second. Got to find the right thing. There you go. Let me take that down. All right, now, today is February 10th, 2021. You have just seen the top 15. The top 10 is what it was, okay? The rest of it, of course, is the rest of the top 25. You know who's not in the top 25 this week, Hugh? UCLA is not in the top 25 this week. How many titles do UCLA have as a school? How many players have they had from UCLA go on to be NBA pros, Olympians, Hall of Famers, what have you? You know what other teams in that top 25? You don't see Kentucky in that top 25. You don't see North Carolina. You don't see Duke. You don't see Michigan State. All 5 of those teams, those blue blood schools, as we like to call them, none of them are in the top 25. And out of those 5 schools that I mentioned, 2 of those schools, Michigan State and Duke, have losing records or close to losing records right now. That's right. No Duke, no North Carolina, no UCLA, no what did I say? No Michigan State. None of those schools are in the top 25. Now check this out, you. The last time that happened for those 5 schools in particular, 1961. 60 years since those particular schools have not been in the top 25. What do you think of that, Hugh?
Man, I'm appalled, man. I'm pretty shocked, though, because when I was hearing about Duke and when I heard about North Carolina wasn't in the top rankings, you know, I always look forward to seeing that game, man, which it didn't have the same, you know, it had more of the lackluster this year versus how excited everybody would be. But to see UK not in there, University of Kentucky, you know, Michigan State, UCLA of all teams.
Thanks, friend Amy. I appreciate you. Friend Amy, one of the MVPs of the Nighthawk Network, checking in. I appreciate you so much. But yeah, go ahead.
Man. I definitely thought that these teams would be doing better. If you told me that these teams wasn't in the top 10, let alone the top rankings, period, I would probably go like, man, I don't believe it. I probably thought it was a joke. But yeah, man, it's just, I don't know, man. Do you think it's the recruiting or what, man? Is it?
Well, you would think, right? But remember, when I tell you this, 7 out of the top 10 highest recruited people in 2020 play for one of those 5 schools.
And that's incredible, man. To see that they're not even ranked right now.
Let's be honest, you. It's 3 reasons why we find ourselves here. 1, obviously, COVID-19.
Yeah.
Because of COVID-19, everybody's schedule is thrown off. Everybody's conditioning is thrown off. Because basically, when you have COVID on campus and one of the people on the team get it, they shut all the facilities down. That throws all the practices off, what have you. 2, this is a clunky year. Remember, the way NCAA is set up right now, there is no class per se. In other words, if you're a freshman, junior, sophomore, whatnot, when you come back next year, you have the option to come back next year and still be in the same class ranking. Also remember, Hugh, there's an open portal for people who wanted to transfer to other schools. In other words, usually you have to wait that 1 year to get that special permission. They're allowing all these kids to go ahead and transfer automatically from school to school. So there's that issue. Another thing is several of these people, they at some point had COVID, so that affected how much they played on that team. And also, you have some of these schools, some of their better players, they opted to redshirt this year or opted out altogether. They chose not to even come to school in a couple cases. So those things play a factor in that also. Bottom line is we about, a month away from March Madness, and some of the teams that you are used to seeing is not going to be in the tournament. Is that going to affect people watching the tournament this year? If you don't have no Duke, North Carolina, no Michigan State in it, no UCLA,
probably
Kentucky,
probably
ain't nobody trying to see Gonzaga like that.
Not really.
Ain't nobody trying to see Baylor like that. Remember, Baylor just coming off of years where they had all type of situations with the football team, basketball team, that. And then, of course, here we go, we'll go orange. People definitely ain't trying to see no Syracuse. Not for real. I don't even think I've seen them play this year. I've seen quite a few teams lately play. But anyway, we looking at a big problem here, Hugh. Another thing, remember, this week we had a couple more schools bow out the rest of the season. Just the other day, Howard University, they say they done. We shutting the season down. We're not playing no more. We have too many problems with COVID. It don't even make no sense. We're not nowhere close to making a tournament anyway. Why bother? Do you think more teams are going to make that decision as time goes on, Hugh?
I definitely think the teams are definitely the ones who's not even in contention. But I still feel like, too, what's going to be scary is the fact that some of these guys are going to be like, man, my NBA career would be more important than me getting sick or taking any risks in college. They're going to opt out of the March Madness. There's going to be a lot of kids just say, hey, man, I got enough tape. If you don't believe it, it is what it is. But I know I don't have to put myself at risk, and I'm not even going to worry about staying in school. And I don't have to. I don't have nothing to prove. A lot of these guys who are top-ranked prospects and guys who are going to go to the next level, they necessarily don't have to. They're going to just opt out, and they're just going to say, man, I'll go to the NBA Combine, and I'll let my talent do the rest. We're going to see a lot of that. A lot of teams going to get exposure because they're going to be in the tournament, but you're going to see a lot of the popular, like really good players who we want to see in March Madness or who we want to anticipate. We're not going to see them in there. I wouldn't be surprised if they do it because right now, if you're in college, as long as you get your education part of it out the way, I don't even think a lot of the guys even going to get the education. I think a lot of the sophomores, juniors and seniors more than ever is going to, make that jump and make that leap and go to the pros.
Right. Your price and excellent points, Breezy. COVID is whooping the NCAA. Yes, it is. Like I said, it seems like every day there's at least 3 or 4 or 5 games that's postponed or canceled because of COVID. And at this point in the season, I don't see why you make some of those games up at all, particularly if it's 2 teams that's not going to probably make the tournament anyway. Why bother the risk of dealing with all that? And some teams, they've been extremely careful in regards to COVID. They testing players multiple times a week. They have them all staying in their own separate dorm by themselves and all of that. And yet it's still not working out for a lot of these teams.
Yeah,
maybe they should take the time to focus on their education. Yeah, and then there's that part, H2. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Student athlete, right? Mm-hmm. Student athlete. But anyway, then, of course, we got the women's game. And, of course, they have some of the same issues in regards to COVID. But one thing that I did note, and I was watching a lot of college basketball these last few days, it was a great game on the women's side. And I got to go there. And, of course, I'm mentioning that because that great game involved number 1 versus number 2. As you see here, these are the rankings for this week. And you will note that number 1, South Carolina, and number 2 is UConn. My ladies. So, of course, I had to tune in on that Monday night. If y'all did not tune in, let me tell y'all, folks, y'all missed one of the best college basketball games all year, men or women. It was an excellent game. Hold on, let's see what we got. What athletes focus on education? No way. Unfortunately, that is the case with some. Let's not talk about you. Now, you know I got to talk about UConn. Don't be no hater, y'all. Because check this out. I want to tell y'all, it was a really good game. In fact, I want y'all to be part of the experience. So, as a special little treat for you guys, I'm going to play the highlight reel from that game. And you'll be the judge. I want y'all to note number 5 in the white. And we're going to talk about her after the clip. All right.
The eyes of the basketball world on Storrs, Connecticut tonight, and a gem of a matchup between the top 2 teams in the country. Number 1 ranked South Carolina looking to get 2 straight against the 2nd ranked team in the country, the UConn Huskies. And Tierra Cruz will be having the whistles here tonight. And the tip-off, and here we go. Number 1 versus number 2, and the tip goes to UConn.
Set their pace defensively.
Well, she's getting her 4th start of her career here tonight. Olivia Nelson-Ododa, they're going to give her that shot. DC country, she's trying to spread out and expand her game in her sophomore season in that manner. Becker's looking for the deuce, and she gets it from the baseline.
Build their ability to protect the paint. You got to hit from the outside against the South Carolina team in order to open up.
The takeaway here from Ewell, and she's off to the races. Don't let anyone to stop her in the lay-in for 2. Warming up the net so much on their side as well. Rebounding has been key for them.
There's Aaliyah Edwards making her presence known, getting the second chance opportunity to fall here. I can relate to that. I loved my 7 sophomores rather, but goodness.
On the transition, it's Beckers on Staley. Feels like Letitia Mehier could be exactly that for the Gamecocks here tonight.
I mean, she can guard 1 through 5. When she goes right off her penetration, she's terrific.
Points for Nelson-Ododa, 4 for Beckers. Leading the way here for UConn. Huskies haven't been able to get much of their transition going, but they do there, and it's Edwards with the finish.
And in the glass, and so far they're doing a good job.
Beckers thought about it to Edwards. Nelson-Ododa with that mid-range jumper, and she's got 6 to lead all score.
The game.
Backdoor look that time. Baseline jumper is good for Becker.
I tell you.
Here's Mule being defended by Henderson. Same starting 5 to begin this 3rd quarter for both of these teams. Another backdoor look and a couple of buckets for Beckers to start. So elbow jumper doesn't fall, but almost another offensive rebound for Saxton. Beckers, a transition bucket, and that's Williams' first points of the night. Shoots 76 from the free throw line.
Or layups for that matter. Goodness.
Here's Williams with tight work to move, and what a move from Kristen Williams. Hand off here to Beckers. Oh, a nifty creative shot.
Wow.
Crossover move. Mule left the hole. South Carolina defense watching, and it's an and-one opportunity.
She saw that Bree Bill had already committed to her move. She just moved into position, made a perfect walk.
Down low that time, and a look there for Williams, and now that's the tally for Aaliyah Boston here so far. 3-point edge for UConn. That play has worked. Nelson-Ododa being like the point guard and finding Beckers for
the team come. And defensively, they're going to have to sit down and protect themselves from these back doors.
No, Beckers again this time passes it and finds Aaliyah Edwards.
All right. I see y'all clowning. 4-minute clip, y'all. I was gonna play it all, but I see y'all trying to skip. But look, bottom line is, before I go on about the UConn side, I gotta give South Carolina a lot of credit. They played a good, hard-fought game. Dawn Staley is to be commended. She had her girls ready to play. Keep in mind, that game was at UConn. They came in there. They came in with the mindset that we are going to win. We beat them last year. We're going to do it again this year. And they fought and they clawed. They played real hard. They played tough defensively. They grabbed boards. They were very scrappy. It actually went to overtime, folks, but in the end, UConn pulled it out. And the reason why that was the case was because of a young lady by the name of Paige Beckers. Paige Beckers, the #1 recruit in America this year, went to UConn because she wanted to be coached hard by Coach Gino Auriemma. She wanted him to make her the best version of herself possible. Keep in mind, Paige has all the accolades. She was the high school All-American Player of the Year. She was a 3-time state champion at Minnesota. She was McDonald's All-American. She went to all the Nike camps, all that good stuff. So in the end, she could have went anywhere, but she chose to go to UConn because that's where they have champions. 11 championships, it speaks volumes. So there's that. Keep in mind, right now, she's averaging about 28 points a game in the last 5 games. She could very well be not only the best freshman player in the country, but the best player, period. And, of course, here we go. All right, people, look here. Enough. E-Buck. Look at all the hate, man. Look at all the hate already. Stop. We all had SPN. This is UConn highlight. Yes, that part. That part. Okay. Haters all. Yawn. Getting sleepy. Get off the soapbox. We don't want to hear it. Bottom line, folks, I've told you guys all along, we will talk women's sports here on this show. We must give them the love. Bottom line, that was a quality game, period, whether you like men's basketball or women's basketball. For you haters and those who not hating, please check out some of those games. They are highly competitive. That game was a very competitive game throughout. It was an excellent game. And I don't care what y'all say. I love my UConn Lady Husky, just like you love your people. I know you love me, H2, but you's a hater. When Maryland get back on top and get in that top 5, we'll talk about them. When you find your women's team worth note, we'll talk about them, cuz. Until then, when UConn Lady Huskies get talked about on this show, this is our show. This is how we do it. Recognize. Flat out.
We talked about
what to say, man.
We talked about the Chiefs already. Come on, man.
Yeah, because you know, guys talk about y'all. You got to do that. It's part of y'all show too, but it's part of my show too. And I'm gonna talk about my teams. I'm talking about my Lady Huskies. Period. But anyway, we're gonna move on since we gotta move on. Time is wasted. So anyway, like I said, some good college basketball being played. Unfortunately, I think COVID is a teammate that's gonna affect a lot of what goes on moving forward. Now we're gonna skip all that and we're gonna talk a little NBA, y'all. Check this out. Y'all didn't like that last clip, but I'm sure we got to talk about this clip right here. This happened last night. Check it out.
Just really worked hard and worked himself into a great NBA career.
Yeah, I, of course, won a title here in San Antonio. Lyles just hitting the 3 a moment ago. And Curry, an and one there. And Fabrizio also fit with that Argentinian national team that won the gold medal as well. They had such great teamwork and chemistry.
That's exactly right. But this is a... This is top.
Look at this.
This is not top 10. That's probably number 1. He's going to throw the ball out to the corner. It's covered up, so he decides to flip it off the glass. I mean, this is just improv at its best. How do you stop that?
Just incredible.
How do you stop that? You know.
Oh, and he missed another free throw.
Bill, I'm buying the lottery ticket.
Oh, yeah, we all are. What's going on at halftime?
Right.
People, tell me that was not the craziest shot you done seen in many years. I could not believe that went in. It was nuts. Come on, Hugh, be on my side. Thank you, Jesus. Yeah, he looked like me. Yeah, okay, H2. You shooting it like that, H2? You balling like that? Look, what, the missed free throw? Man, you seen what that man did. And keep in mind, that's just last night. I really want to talk about what happened on Saturday. You know that ABC is back showing the primetime showcase. And last week, we got a hell of a matchup. We had the Dallas Mavericks against Golden State. And they was going for theirs, boy. It was a hell of a game. What did you think, Hugh?
Man, I love that game, man. It was just exciting all around, man. I feel like they both put on the show. I didn't think it was going to be – I knew it was going to be good, but I didn't think they were going to put on a show like that. I didn't thought – it looked like more or less, let's be honest, like a playoff game. they showed out, man. And it was basically one of the only things to watch at the time, too. And I felt like, man, if those two people playing, man, those two teams, Luka against Steph, I want to see what's going on. And, man, they put up some numbers, man. I think Steph had like
Steph had 57 in that game, bro.
19 to 31 shooting from the field in 37 minutes. And Luka had the high score on his team.
Luka had 42 and then they had a triple-double.
Yep, he had 42, 11 assists in his 38 minutes. But it was just nonstop, man. You know that, we had a present, but then you had a future, too. Steph is the present, but Luka Doncic trying to get in here, and he trying to make himself be heard, man. That Dallas Mavericks team is going to be tough, man. It's just, I don't know what it is. I think a few pieces are missing. I think they need more of a stronger center.
They need a center that they got to step up. They need Porzingis to play like he played when he was in New York. And speaking of which, then we have this here. You see those Knicks got D Rose again. We coming. Now, I don't know if you're trying to mess with me because you know that D Rose was on them Pistons and I feel some type of way, or if you actually claiming that you a Knicks fan. Man, y'all people in Missouri and all y'all wide over everywhere places that y'all had teams for. I don't understand it.
But he like the orange bit too, so it kind of makes sense that he rocking with the Knicks, man. He like his New York squads.
Y'all teams be all over the place when you're from Missouri, apparently. But anyway, I'm messing with you, cuz. Okay, hold on. Luka is good, but very overrated. He's no MVP candidate. He's a scorer. Prad, are you serious, bro? Come on, man.
Prad, come on, man.
To be kidding. Not only is he an MVP candidate, he might be the MVP candidate right now, as far as I'm concerned. He is definitely more than just a scorer. He is a very good distributor of the ball. He has had several triple doubles this season. Remember, this kid is just 21 years old. He is getting better before our eyes.
That's what he don't understand. This dude's still a kid, man. It ain't like he been in the league 5-6 years yet, man.
Okay, so you're going to get on me because I'm a fan of one women's team outside of the state. I can also tell you the Michigan team, the women's team, they ranked 13th, and they are 13-1. They got one of the better players in America, too. She had 50 points. I can tell you about my team from Michigan. Can you tell me about your Missouri team? Hell, can you tell me about the teams down there in Georgia where you at right now? Do you know about that, cuz? I'm on it, though. And most of my teams, they wear this D, okay? Most of your teams wear, what now? Okay. How did the Mavericks have the 3 greatest European players? That part there, absolutely. Yeah. It's like they just because you had Dirk, you got Porzingis, who should be there. Then, of course, you got Luka, and then before them two, who was the third player? Look at it. Where I live don't count. Why it don't count, cuz? What's up with that? Claim yours, bro. Claim your hometowns. Claim your home states, at least, I should say.
Yeah, he's the top 8 right now, kid. But they're giving him too much already. He is bad from 3-point free. Man.
Come on, Prad, man. Have you been watching Dallas play, bro? You got to be kidding me, man.
They just won a hell of a game today against Atlanta, man. They actually came back in that game. They were losing by 12 and came back to rally to win, man.
Even the GO.A.T of the league himself right now is saying that Luka's in the top 5 as far as he's concerned. LeBron himself is saying
that. Wear his shoes. He wanted Luka to wear his brand shoes.
How did the Mavericks have the 3? Oh, yeah, we already went there. Porzingis, yeah, exactly. And like I said, I really need him to step his game up. He actually had a decent game in Saturday, but he disappears. He disappears big time. Now check out this list right here. Check it out. Check it out. Check it out, Hugh. This is his squads. He got the Chiefs and the Royals, Sooners football, Knicks, Syracuse basketball. He all over the country with his. I'm in 2 basic spots. I'm here in Michigan, and I got my UConn Lady Huskies. That's it. Okay, we get some scores here from HQ. Let's see. We got Pelicans and the Bills right now. Close game. Not surprised. Okay, that game over. That game already over.
That Thunder game, man. I'm looking at it right now.
Early on, we got Thunders and Lakers. I would not even worry about that. I watched them play a few times. They get off to them slow starts. They're definitely a second half team this year. Absolutely.
We're just hanging around, man.
Like who we like. Okay, we're gonna go there now. That's how you gonna play it.
That Suns and Bucks game pretty close.
Okay, what we got for scoring that one?
It's 27-24.
Okay, see H2 on it tonight. Bucks 24, 24. Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely probably gonna check that one out after we get up out of here. But before we do that, we're gonna have a little more talk about sports. We want to get into a little baseball after these last comments here. I like Luka, but he is no better than Giannis once you add in defense. He is a better shooter and passer, but Greek Freak is a better defender and rebounder and actually helps his team get wins. Luka needs more time to grow. Well, I agree with you as far as the defensive part. I mean, Greek Freak might be one of the better defenders the league's ever seen at this point in his career. But that being said, no, I think you're selling Luka short, guy. Did you not see that playoff game last year? Him and the Clippers, they actually took the Clippers out. Remember, the Clippers was one of the heavy favorites to win last year. But you should have seen some of them games that they played against the Mavs. Luka was dominant.
He's giving them problems, man. He's softening them up for the next round for my man's Nico.
I'm from Baltimore, but I like the Cowboys. Yeah, we know about you and them Cowboys, H2.
She hates
the best player in the game. He's been a pro since he was 12. Absolutely. A legitimate pro at 12 at that, getting paid cash money to ball. He's been doing this quite some time. And he looked like a person far beyond his age of 21 when you see his overall game. I think you need to watch the Mavericks games, Pride. You selling that brother short.
He should have watched the game tonight.
Yeah, because Luka balling. I promise you, he is balling. Yeah, he is definitely MVP worthy. Anyway, like I said, we're about to hit this commercial right quick. We're gonna come back and talk some baseball free agents. You know, they're about to start spring training this week, and we want to kind of give you guys an idea of what to look forward to in the season to come. So this is Game Time Audible. Hugh E. We be back, y'all. What's up, everybody? Eric Buckner here. You know me as EB, Young Easy, Eric Buck, all that good stuff. Anyway, I'm here to kick it with y'all about this little podcast I've been doing. You know, I talk trending topics. I talk about the stuff we as people need to talk about. I talk about some things, actually, that people kind of want to shy away from because we got to have these discussions, folks. That's how we get better. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, hold on. Yeah, so anyway, you know, I do it Tuesdays, 8:30 p.m. You can check it out on Facebook, on YouTube. You know, it's a good show. I say get into it. Yeah, you want to know the name of the show? You said, hold on. Hey, you, get off my lawn. Yeah, anyway, that's the name of the show, by the way. Get off my lawn. Check it out Tuesdays, 8:30 p.m. Let me go handle this.
Set your place on fire. Let's get higher. I'm gonna set your place on fire. Let's get higher. I'm gonna set your place on fire. Let's get higher. I'm gonna set your place on fire. Let's get higher. I'm gonna set your place on fire. Let's get higher.
What's up, y'all? We are back. Game Time Audible back in the building. He is your host, the sports guru himself, Hugh Lee, and I'm your boy E Beezy, E Buck in the house. And we are talking sports as we do at this time every week. We got a little something. Tomorrow we got Raptors, Celtics, Heat, Rockets, Pacers, Pistons, Magic, Warriors, 76ers, and Trailblazers. A couple good games in there, I think. What you looking at here? What you think?
Damn, man, there's a couple of good ones on there, man. But I'm liking that that Celtics Heat look like that's going to be good. I want to see that rematch from the playoffs because that's basically a measuring stick. I don't feel like Miami doing what they were doing in a bubble, but they're still a good team. And the Celtics have been kind of iffy this year, man. So I'm not really sure what they've been doing lately. But that Warriors 76 is going to be a powerful game, man, because I like what Doc got down there, and he actually has them playing like, competitive physical basketball. Just really surprised how Joel Embiid been playing too, man, because I don't really too much care for a big man shooting threes. We're a little older, man. We like the 80s, 90s era of basketball, but man, he got them playing serviceable, man. They looking good down there.
All right. So, yeah, I'm going to check a couple of those out tomorrow, I think, as well. Okay, thank you, Research Department. We appreciate you, H2. Always got my back. Love you. But anyway, we're about to get into this baseball talk. Basically, like I said, spring training starting this week. And a couple of weeks, we're going to have the spring training games. And April 1st, we got opening day. So we kind of want to know what's going on. As you know, the Dodgers took it all last year. And as a result, several teams have made some power moves to put themselves in a position to beat those guys. And they want to know if they can get it done. So that being said, let's talk about some of these moves that the teams have made. We're going to have my man, the sports guru, break down some of the bigger deals that went on in the offseason, and we're going to talk about them for a minute. So, Hugh, who we got, man? Who we got in this free agency?
Man, the biggest deal was the low blow to me, man, because we were just talking about how the rich get richer. And I'm just looking
at get poor. Yeah, H2, I know. It's going to be a long year here, too. But we're going to talk about it anyway.
I seen that Trevor Bauer deal, man, and I said, damn, man, no disrespect to Clayton Kershaw. I don't want Reverend Tillman coming on here, bashing me or anything. But I think Trevor Bauer can come in, and Trevor Bauer can take that number one spot, man. No disrespect to Clayton Kershaw, man, but we know he's a really good regular season, pitcher.
And like I said, I'm surprised we ain't heard from Pastor Tillman this evening.
Yeah.
Usually he would have chimed in by now. He might be busy. If you catch this on the reprocast, Pastor Tillman, we missed you, bro. Hopefully we'll catch you next time around. I know you be a busy guy sometimes. But yeah, we're talking about your Dodgers right now. And like I said, the thing is, I don't even think that's the biggest part of that deal. Remember, last year when the Dodgers went and won it all, one of those people that's on the pitching staff for this season, he opted out. I'm talking about David Price. Now, if you can get a David Price that's similar to the one we had here in Detroit, or definitely the one in Tampa Bay, to add with Trevor Bauer and Clayton Kershaw and the rest, you got something really good going on with that pitching staff.
Yeah, they, like you said, man, we were discussing that earlier. They have the number one pitching staff, man, hands down. And that's why I think they're still going to be one of the teams to be reckoned with, man. I wouldn't be surprised if they can run it back to back, too, man. And one of the other picks, my second pick, was George Springer, man. The Blue Jays was already a decent team, but he brought versatility and power to that team, man. And their batting, lineup is going to be really nasty. But just to look at and see, I had like in the lineup, Kevon Biggio as the number one person in the lineup. And Bobetti as the number two, but when you got that three, that Vladimir Guerrero, and then you follow that up with George Springer and Teoscar Hernandez, I don't know, man. They're going to give a lot of teams problems, man. They're going to definitely be competing with the New York Yankees.
And then, of course, you definitely got to talk about some of the stuff the Yankees did in the offseason. A couple moves in regards to that, Hugh?
Man, I think they had some of the better moves. Just from DJ LeMahieu was huge, man, because DJ LeMahieu, what he brought to that team not only was versatility, but he brought like strength, and he brought speed to that team. The Rockies, man, that's why they're such a bad organization, man. You let this man walk, and then, you let Nolan Arenado walk, man. One of the people I'm going to discuss too. But, yeah, the Yankees, man, getting DJ LeMahieu back, and then to have Corey Kluber in that pitching rotation, man. You got Garrett Cole.
That was a big pickup for the Yankees getting Corey Kluber.
Another pitcher like that. No disrespect to Luis Serrano. That's what I meant. I'm sorry. And no disrespect to none of the other guys in that lineup, man. Herman. But still, man, when you got pitcher Corey Kluber, who's a Cy Young winner. He was banged up last year, and people don't give him the credit that he deserved when he went, to play with the Rangers. He was banged up, man. But if you have the Cleveland Corey Kluber with Garrett Cole, man, that's going to be a dangerous team, man.
Right, and remember, they already still have a very solid bullpen. They got a very deep bullpen at that. They got several people that have been closers at some point.
Aroldis Chapman's one of the better ones.
I hear you, cuz. Deal. Beer on you and mask on me. But yeah, hopefully we could do that safely. And COVID is winding down and all that good stuff. I would love to catch a game with you, cuz. Absolutely. Okay, the power rankings as they stand. H2, the research department on it tonight, y'all. These are the power rankings as they stand right now. You got the world champion Dodgers first. Surprisingly, you got the Padres too. And they've made a lot of moves, so we definitely got to talk about that for a second. You got the Yankees third, as they pretty much have been for the last few years. The Braves, who definitely looked pretty good last year, in fourth. You got the Twins in fifth. The White Sox, the surprising White Sox in sixth. The A's, Mets, Blue Jays, and the Rays. Thank you very much for that information, H2. I appreciate it. But, yeah, like I said, several of those teams that let's put that back up there for a second. Several of those teams have made some good moves. We got the Twins. They've made a few moves, including re-signing the big power man himself. I'm sure you got that on the list, do you not, Hugh?
Oh, yeah. Nelson Cruz, he was in the top of that list, man. He was definitely one of my top 10 acquisitions. And then,
and I definitely want to look at that Padres, too. They made a lot of good moves, and some moves they've tried to make it even better. You got any of those people on there?
Oh, yeah, man. I just felt like it wasn't really enough for one, and it wasn't no disrespect. But Jerkison Profar, man, the guy that they got from the Oakland A's, I thought that was a really good pickup because I was surprised Oakland let him go, man. For them to have him as a shortstop, they already had a really finesse team, man, and they were already making a comeback of being one of the more respected teams. But then Austin Nola, I thought that was a good pickup, man. And the Brian O'Grady kid from Cincinnati, too. I definitely like that move. I just feel like they did a lot to make that team stronger. And honestly,
I think the moves that the Padres made, it may put them in a position where they finish second in the West, but I don't think it's nearly enough to get past the Dodgers.
And you know what, too? The one pick that kind of made me want to throw up in my mouth a little bit is Blake Snell. They slept on Snell, man. That was like one of those under the radars. I forgot he was on the team until I just so happened to glance at a roster. But they're scary, man. They're going to definitely give them a run, man. Then don't forget about Yu Darvish, man. Yu Darvish always a finesse pitcher who's going to give you at the least 8 wins a year if he could get that many out of him. He's going to give you at least an average of 8. And the Mike Clevenger kid, man.
We know you are H2, and that's funny because truth be told, I don't drink no more, and I ain't drinking pop no more. So I guess it's going to be water on y'all. But anyway, go ahead, Hugh.
Yeah, Mike Clevenger, man, that was another good pick, man. He had a lot of issues, man. We heard about the controversy when he snuck out and tried to come back in the room. And, the teammates were saying they didn't want to play with him if he was still playing. And, so he moved on. I think that was a good move for them, too, because he one of the better pitchers in the game, man. I was surprised that Cleveland didn't want to bring him back because no disrespect to Cleveland, man. Our market's not that big. So when we have good talent on our teams, we need to keep them. But for him going over there too, they're stacking the deck, man. And they're saying, we know who the Dodgers are. They are who we thought they were. But now we're going to let y'all know who we are. And when you guard this Blake Snell, that was huge. And then you get him, Clevenger.
And I'm looking at these power rankings again. I'm telling y'all now, look out for the White Sox. Look out for the White Sox because they were just starting to get into who they really could become. They had a very good second half of the season last year, and I think they're only going to build off of that. They got a lot of good young people on that team that's coming into their own, and I do believe that they definitely going to have something to say, particularly in the National League Central. So don't just automatically give it to the Twins. The White Sox definitely gonna have something to say about that. Now, I wish my team did, but my League Tigers, I'm just hoping that they better than Kansas City this year. That is my hope, and I think that happens because remember they just re-signed Jonathan Scope. That was basically the big power hitter last year on the squad. Once old boy got hurt, that is.
He stayed with us too, because for us keeping him, man.
Right. So if we get that and we get at least half a Miggy this season, I think it might be enough to pull us out the basement. But the true thing is, what is that pitching staff for the Tigers looking like? A lot of those young guys that we've been trying to nurture all this time, they finally going to probably get their chance in the big leagues this year. And I'm interested to see how quickly they get over their growing pains and do it that way. I'm going to be a guest when volleyball season comes back around. Actually, H2, considering that the Olympics is coming up, that would be definitely a good time for you to join the show and talk some volleyball. Because at that point, we want to talk about all the Olympic sports when they come up. So, yeah, feel free. Okay, here we go. I don't see my Royals on that list. And you know why they're not on that list. Because, like I said, them and my Tigers, they're going to be battling for the basement. You know it, I know it. The only thing is we seem to have a lot more going on in the farm system than the Royals do right now. So I could definitely see it being down to like 2 or 3 game thing as to who ends up finishing in the NL Central basement. But, you know, my thing is this. If we do happen to kind of blossom ahead of time like the White Sox did last year, do we become buyers at that point? Are we going to get just enough to where, okay, well, now we'll sell off some of these assets? Because we got a lot of pitching prospects here in Detroit. Some of them, they're not going to make the squad. We can't have 12 starters. You know what I'm saying? At some point, we got to start making some moves and get more position players in the minors because, you know, we still kind of hurting in regards to that, particularly infield prospects. A lot of our infield prospects in our minor leagues not doing as well as we thought. Back again to the research department. According to the research department, the Royals ranked 25th in the power rankings. Yeah, they not gonna make it, man. Tigers are 24th. Like I said, neck and neck. So yeah,
they're gonna be on the cusp of getting that number 1 pick again.
Yep. So there's that, and actually, there's a pretty good pitcher that's supposed to be the number 1 pick next year. He's throwing over 100. They say he's throwing about 100, 304. So I'm sure they'll be hyping him up as the year goes on. I forget what college he's going to this year, but right now they're saying he's definitely the number 1 pick. We some picks. Yeah, basically that's it. We're looking at top 5 picks for both our squads. It's all said and done. So anyway, like I said, I'm looking forward to the season. Keep in mind, they have determined that no, they are not going to require any of the major leaguers to get the vaccine in order to play. That was something they had discussed the other day. Okay, they're saying KC got an outfielder from the Mets. You know who that is?
KC got an outfielder from the Mets.
Mm-hmm.
I don't recall that. Let me check right quick.
Okay, Google gonna look that up. But meanwhile, me too. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the thing is, we're gonna start April, and it's actually gonna be people in the games because what we learned today is that New York Governor Andrew Cuomo has decided to start letting all the major sports teams have players participate with the crowd in the games. In other words, there's a 10% approval so that all games now, NBA, NHL, all that, he's going to allow at least 10% of the building to be filled. I myself I'm kind of leery about that. Granted, 10% doesn't seem like a lot, but remember, we got football stadiums that fit 70, 80,000 people. So 10% of that is 8,000. Then you got the basketball arenas that's at least a good 3,000-4,000 people that we talking about there possibly. And Andrew, oh, okay. Yeah, that's not from the Mets, that's from the Red Sox.
Oh yeah, Andrew Benintendi. Yeah, we talked about him first on the show actually. When Andrew Benintendi came.
Right. We did discuss that.
We needed him after Alex Gordon retirement. You know what though? But the Red Sox trying to get rid of everybody. Andrew Benintendi hasn't even been there that long for the Red Sox. I think he's gonna be a good player though.
It's all
don't definitely take that away.
Yeah, so yeah, I actually think that's a good pickup for the Royals, actually.
Yeah, it is. He's an excellent player, man. But then you know how the Red Sox are, man. They'll get to the point where they don't mind spending money, and then they just get rid of everybody. Like that Mookie West was a surprise to me because I thought he was definitely going to be a Red Sox lifer. Benintendi, when I found out they got rid of Mookie West, I said anybody can get dealt when it comes to the Red Sox.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Thanks, H2. You own it. Yep, but yeah, like I said, I'm looking forward to the season. Me, myself, I'm still not going to the games until we get a lot better handle on this COVID thing. I just would not be comfortable with it. And when I am going, I'm wearing my mask. And if I can't wear my mask, I ain't going, period. But that's another story for another day. Nonetheless, people's about that time. We're about to start to wrap this thing on down. We thank you so much for letting us talk the sports with you this evening. Got dealt. Exactly. But yeah, it's been a good show. Me and the Guru have enjoyed talking to you. We are one of the many shows here in my Nighthawk Network, which I am the COO. Among them, as we always do about this time, we got to give shouts out to my other peoples. We got Hey Bitches with that person that's been running the research department this evening, Miss Helena Hologram, 9 p.m. Eastern, Monday night. She will be back from her vacation next week. Has an excellent guest for you guys. Actually has pretty good guests the next couple weeks, so look forward to seeing that. We got Monumental Moments in God's Word with my cousin, the very busy Dr. Marla Facey. She will be on tomorrow night, so you can check that on out. We got Dish and Tea. Big Meech is in the donut shop tomorrow, so we're not going to catch him till Friday, but that's all right. Me and H2 got a special treat for you because we're going to have Get Off My Lawn After Dark edition instead, and that's going to come on at 10 o'clock. Among some of the topics we're going to talk about is Valentine's Day and what really goes on at the end of the night. You know what I'm saying? We also want to talk about some of those special treats that you might get your lady. I'm talking about the ones that require batteries and such. Yeah. In other words, folks, there's going to be some real grown talk in regards to that show. It's not for kids. It is not for the weak-minded or weak-hearted. So viewer discretion will be advised for the After Dark edition. Please know that. Okay, Pastor Sean Love probably will not be tuning in to the After Dark edition, but you can definitely tune in sometime this week as part of the Nighthawk Network. And of course, we got Girl Stop, the podcast with my cousin Elena Miller and her girl Letitia Williams Howard. Gonna have them on Get Off My Lawn Live in a couple weeks so y'all can get to know them a little better. Let's talk with Aunt Nikki. Of course, the interview show with Miss Aunt Nikki. We also got Dish and Tea with Big Meech, Aunt Nikki, and Big Red. Like I said, they will be back Friday for you guys and the rest of the weekend to do a show. And then, of course, we got on Saturday, Stan Mason's Behind the Blue Curtain, Saturday, 11 a.m. And, of course, shout out to Pride Hunter, whose show that we should be having on the air very soon as well. Got some final comments before we head out. Anytime, guys. Awesome show. Thank you, guys. Thank you, H2. I love you. Good luck. Hope I get my COVID vaccine this month. All righty, then. I hope that all works out. Absolutely. With flashlight and battery. Yeah, what flashlight batteries? No. We're not talking about those type of batteries because you might want to tune in. You might find that show interesting too.
The Dr. Feel Good toys.
Yeah, that type of stuff. Please stay home, narrow-minded people. Yes, that part. Because in the end, that's how we're going to get past this COVID-19. Start to understand that doing it your way is only getting us deeper and deeper in this hole. Please try to deal with things a little differently so that we can get past this pandemic and move forward for real. But anyway, y'all, this has been another episode of our show, Game Time Audible. Before I end it out, I got to let my man Hugh get some final words in.
Thank you guys for tuning in, and glad you posted the Pure to the Game website, the blog.
Yeah, we absolutely got to talk about Pure to the Game. Go ahead, you tell them about it.
Whenever you guys get a chance, check me out, man. Most times, man, I know I'm supposed to be doing it. I'll be at work, man. I'll be at home. Sometimes I'll wake up at night and see some good news, and I'll post it, man. I usually try to post whenever I can, anytime I can. So, yeah, check me out, man. Most times, like y'all seen on the show already, I will have some news maybe a couple of seconds before ESPN, and I showed y'all an example tonight. So, yeah, stay tuned, man. I'm always trying to keep fresh updates. I want to get y'all thoughts on the show or anything that y'all feel like it could prove it. You know, whatever I can do to improve the show to make it better. Hey, man, I'm definitely not afraid of any criticism. Just let me know, and I'll definitely give it a shot. But yeah, Pure to the Game.
Bernie. Little Bernie, what's up, man? You say we forgot something? Oh, yep, you're right, Bernie. My bad. Good looking. Little Bernie checking in on a brother like you've been doing lately. I appreciate you, little Bernie. No, he said we forgot to talk about one thing. We also got the Australian Open going on right now, featuring this young lady right here.
So that big.
Serena Williams. This is the outfit she wore yesterday. In round 2, 39 years old, looking good. Look at that. That's that good body right there. She done lost all the baby weight, and she getting it in, y'all. She won 616 zip yesterday, but she got her work cut out for her because they said in order for her to get to the final, she may very well have to beat the number 3, number 2, and number 1 ranked player in the world in order to get the championship. And remember, she's only 1 win away from tying the great Margaret Court for 24 and 24, making her the true GOAT of all time in women's tennis. So I really hope she does that. Didn't she withdraw? Not to my knowledge, unless you got some breaking news I don't know about. No, she's still playing. Don't forget the remix. Okay, we're doing a remix tonight, H2. Apparently, she might be just talking about in general, because of course she does the remix. That Derek does at least. Does the remix. It was a very good remix last night, by the way. Got to talking about that girl that glued her head and whatnot. Yeah, actually the latest on that H2 is that that person is going to get one of the Beverly Hills plastic surgeons to help her get that mess out of her head. I wish her luck in that endeavor. Right now, it's just a big old mess. But anyway, we about to get up out of here, y'all. Thank you again for tuning in. We appreciate y'all. This has been Game Time Audible. That right there is Hugh Lee, the sports guru. Please check out his blog, Pure to the Game. Get all the latest info in regards to what's going on in the world of sports. He would appreciate that very much.
Appreciate y'all.
Yep, absolutely, Hugh. I mean, H2, we got you. We got you. What's going on, cuz? Checking in at the end. I appreciate you. Her and Jermaine Jackson, yeah. Hey, I know, right? Anyway, let's get them up out of here, Hugh. Thank y'all for checking us out. We appreciate y'all. We will see y'all next Wednesday. Until then, you know how we do it. 2 fingers. Peace.
And that's the last Audible for tonight.
Flat out. Game Time Audible is a Nighthawk Network presentation.